evolved, and then the next one, Taking Flight, is a, I don't want to say a sequel, but it takes us once evolution and being able to fly again proceeds.
Yeah, they're all actually in a weird...
They're very metaphorical.
And also in a weird time in my life, I went to flight school.
Oh,
so
okay.
They're all my own pilot terms. They're all, the third one is called Touch and Go that I'm working on. But the first one, Growing Wings, was written 10 years ago, and it was written when I was going through a horrible, very difficult time, and I was painting simultaneously. So not only is there a story, but there's paintings that go along with it. So it's full color and it's beautiful the way that it came out. Just this year, it was turned also into an ebook. So that's
just
beautiful
really great,
too.
yeah.
So it's short chapters, and earlier you talked about quilting, and it's funny because my books are quilted essentially together also. They're short vignettes that are then woven together through an overarching story.
Oh, that's very, yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun for me as a writer to get each one set and then say, okay, how am I gonna place these so that they all fit and make sense.
They have a interlocking kind of component.
So that they're family. So it's a story of grief, and actually it's about my divorce. But I was very shocked and surprised of the hands that it's been in the sense that anybody going through something difficult, it's not necessarily about that subject matter. I initially heard a lot from bereaved parents. And parents who had lost children, and you name it, just people going through tough times.
Yeah, that just reaches out beyond your personal experience.
Right.
It becomes more
and
universal.
Talks about that place where you're so broken that you would really rather die than get through this. Like it hurts to physically breathe. And talking about that and getting through it, and just being very candid about what was going on and how I got through that. The second book is called Attempting Flight.
I keep calling it Taking Flight. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's called Attempting Flight.
Attempting Flight.
And it is also beautiful. Same deal with the artwork going through it. And I made them soft cover because I wanted it to be something that you could take with you and you can read a chapter without reading it the whole way through, so you can pick up and just read a chapter if you want to.
Yeah, and you could use it as a read it and use it as a meditative process.
Yeah, and it makes sense that way. It's not like you're going to be like, what's happening?
And sometimes for some people that's easier to not take a whole book, and sometimes all that great stuff to open you up can be too overwhelming for people sometimes. So if they could just take a little portion, kind of be with it, then move on, build like building blocks, or like you're quilting it for their own life,
Or they might read the story. I've had people say they read the story and they see the artwork, but then they spend another hour looking at the poem that goes with it, that's on the artwork, was written at the time that this thing happened. And so there's a lot of layers also in that. I'm really proud of the book, and it was just, like I said, turned into an ebook. So it's now something people can have with them just on their iPad.
Right, which is great. You're sitting.
But we did a study at one time, and each book has approximately touched 3 hands. So one person will give it to somebody who will then give it to somebody else. And I think that's really exciting.